Hi guys, Rob with S&S Archery here. Today we're going to help you build the perfect pin stack for your next hunt. We're going to go over pin size and colors that may disappear in low light and a symmetrical setup that will work in just about any situation. Okay, let's start with pin color. Three colors: green, yellow, and red. We'll start with green. That just tends to be the best color. It's the brightest in low light, it tends to blur the least in bright sunlight, and it tends to be the most consistent color from dim to bright. Yellow is a good secondary color to green. It isn't generally as bright in low light, and it will blur a little bit more in bright sunlight. Red, unfortunately, it does tend to be the worst. It tends to be very dim in low light, and it does wash out really bad in bright sunlight. A lot of guys like red because it's a good contrast with green foliage backdrop. I actually reached out to a couple of our vendors to find out why they run red pins primarily on their sites, and the answer I kind of got was just that's what they've always done. So we kind of look at it a little bit differently. We look at the pins themselves and how they perform in different lighting situations. Let's go over pin sizes. We generally have three sizes: 29 thousandths, 19 thousandths, and 10 thousandths. 29 thousandths is just huge. I generally only recommend a 29 thousandths pins for guys who are have poor vision, maybe, or for a guy who's hunting out of a ground blind where there's no ambient light at all. Otherwise, I really like the 19 thousandths and 10 thousandths pins. 19 thousandths pins, these are visible in any legal hunting light. So if you're a guy who's in a state where you can't use a sight light, I would definitely pick 19 thousandths pins because it's going to work in first light, and it's also going to work in the middle of the day. 10 thousandths pins are my absolute favorite. They are very precise, and I feel much more accurate when shooting them. However, in low light, they tend to be very hard to see. And in fact, those first 10 minutes or so, it's going to be hard to see any brightness at all. So if you can or are willing to use a sight light, the 10 thousandths pins are certainly an option. Okay, now let's talk about different brands. Here at S&S Archery right now we're carrying Spot Hogg, HHA, and Black Gold, so I'm going to cover those brands. Spot Hogg makes easily the strongest pins. They call them bulletproof pins for a reason. They really are. They're very strong. They also get a lot of light. However, the one bad thing about Spot Hogg is you can see that the fibers are always exposed, right? So these are great in low light, but in bright sunlight, there's no real way to manage the brightness. Otherwise, they make great pins. HHA is another favorite of mine. They make great pins, good brightness. The thing I like about HHA is they have this rheostat that can be twisted to cover the fiber. So in the middle of the day, if your pins are starting to wash out, you can just turn this rheostat to cover the fiber and your pins won't wash out as bad. Black Gold actually is my favorite. This shell is actually a photochromatic shell. It turns a dark purple in bright sunlight. And this keeps pins from washing out, does a great job of limiting light to those fibers. The nice thing about this is it's automatic. When I hunted with an HHA sight, I did tend to forget to turn the rheostat. So this is my favorite setup. Okay, so let's bring all those pin sizes and colors together. What I'm going to talk about next is symmetry. What is that? It is building a pin size and color combination that makes sense in your brain so that you're not making these crazy decisions in the heat of the moment when the last thing you want to be doing is making a decision, right? It should just be muscle memory. You should be able to go to the exact pin you need without even thinking about it. And so muscle memory is super important just so I can get to that exact pin that I need without too much thought. So symmetry can be done with pin size and color, right? So you can have 1919, 1010. That's a great setup based on size because you've got two close-up or low light pins and then you have two distance pins. Color can be done with, for instance, green, yellow, green. That's a favorite of ours. You can also bring those two together and have For instance, a 5-pin, you could do 19, 19, 19, 10, 10, and green, green, yellow, green, green. That's another favorite of ours. So we really like the custom symmetry setup of that 3-pin and 5-pin that I just talked about. So much so that we have some of our brands build us sights with those configurations that we keep in stock here at S&S Archery. So for instance, HHA, their X3 model can be bought with a 19, 19, 10 size, and then green, yellow, green. We keep those in stock. Also, the new sight, the XV3, can be purchased with that same 3-pin setup, 19 green, 19 yellow, 10 green. Spot Hogg, we do that with their 3-pin MRT, and we also do that with the triple stack. And then of course with Black Gold, we have them do that 3-pin setup in the Pro Hunter and the Streamline. And then we also have that 5-pin setup, that 19 green, 19 green, 19 yellow, 10 green, 10 green setup in the Pro Hunter and also in the Streamline. So we're big fans of that setup, and we do our very best to keep those in stock. You also have the ability here at S&S to use our online build tool to build your own custom setup. So kind of take what you've learned here and maybe build your own setup. Most sites are delivered within a couple of weeks, so it doesn't take very long, and it's really nice to get exactly the pin size and color that you want. Take this video with a grain of salt. You know, everybody sees different pin colors differently. Some guys, you know, are going to see yellow better than red, and some guys are going to see red better than the other colors. So if this applies to you, kind of take this with a grain of sand. You know, when we're speaking about pin size and color performance, it really is just general and will fit most guys. And the other purpose of this video is that, hey, if you go to your local pro shop and you look at a sight that you want to buy on the shelf, and you really don't like the color setup, you're not stuck with that. You know, we can get you set up with any pin setup that you like. So that kind of wraps it up here. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions on this. If you have any questions on any of the gear we sell here at S&S Archery, definitely reach out. That's it, and thanks for watching.